Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. I am today going to try to do something that I haven't done in a long time, something that I used to do pretty much every week. And I'm going to do a breakdown of Support Max Neuro. Now, I know that's something that I've done before, 3 or 4 years ago, but when I did the first breakdown of this, its use case was, or the reason for producing the product was quite focused on one specific area. And actually, over the last few years, the use case for this product have become really, really varied. We're going to look at what's in it. We're going to look at why those things are in it. We're going to look at how you might use it. And we're going to look at things that it might stack well with. And by things, I mean that might stack well with, I mean basically, if you want it before bed, probably take the PM version. Anyway, tangent. Support Max Neuro, when we brought it out, pretty much defined a category, and it was the first kind of cortisol management product. A lot of people incorrectly kind of said that it was a nootropic. It's not. It has some nootropic properties, but its use case really is the lowering of stress, lowering of cortisol, and supporting brain health. Now, what do I mean by that? We have in here in lion's mane an ingredient that can improve neurogenesis in the brain, so the growth of neurons. There isn't really anything else that we know of that can do that. Neurons in the brain are constantly dying and being reborn, but if we can skew that balance slightly more towards more growth going on than death, we can potentially improve things like recall, memory, cognitive function. We've got ingredients in here like ashwagandha and phosphatidylserine, both of which are very, very good at lowering cortisol and reducing anxiety and stress. Now, phosphatidylserine is the ingredient that lowers cortisol. It's one of the only ingredients that you're allowed to make the claim lowers cortisol under EU regulations for, and that's because it's very clinically, categorically shown to do that. Cortisol is our body's primary stress hormone. There are certain times at which it's useful. It helps us get out of bed in the morning, so a little bit of cortisol in the morning can be useful, but too much cortisol is definitely a bad thing for many reasons, and it can also prevent us from getting to sleep at night for the exact same reason that it gets us up in the morning. So phosphatidylserine helps lower cortisol, and that's really, really useful before bed. It's also really, really useful post-workout, and that post-workout window was when the product was really designed for. It was designed to help you activate a parasympathetic nervous system state as quickly as possible post-workout. I prefer just helps you relax post-workout rather than overcomplicate things, but that's really its goal. Ashwagandha people use as a cortisol management tool, but it kind of comes at things from a slightly different angle in that rather than clinically lowering cortisol, it helps relieve feelings of anxiety and stress, and being less stressed and anxious will inversely lower cortisol as a byproduct. We've also got choline in there. Now, choline is one of the most abundant phospholipids in the brain. Phospholipid is a compound that helps your brain carry signals. That can become depleted, again, during times of stress or just with modern... I mean, look, it's 9:30 at night here. I'm sat in a brightly lit room. That isn't something that would happen naturally. That can raise cortisol, that can raise stress. So all the things we do in modern life contribute towards this raising of stress and this skewing of our hormones. Choline is a little bit more involved in the mechanics of the brain, but supplementing with it is very, very beneficial. It's also involved in cholestasis within the liver, so really multi-purpose ingredient there. And then we've got 10 milligrams of black pepper extract. Now, black pepper extract is there primarily as an absorption agent. There is a difference between the powder version of Support Max Neuro and the tablet version. The tablet version has twice as much lion's mane. Lion's mane is that mushroom that I mentioned that improves neurogenesis. Now, ideally, I would like people to take 1 gram of lion's mane a day. However, there's only 500 milligrams in the powdered version, and that's because lion's mane tastes like smelly fish. So the black pepper is in there to try and make sure that we get as much of that lion's mane into our system as possible. It doesn't really improve absorption. I regret saying that immediately. It inhibits excretion of compounds. So that's there to try and get as much bang for buck out of our lion's mane as possible. The capsule version, however, if lion's mane is your primary thing that you're using the product for, the capsule version has a full gram of lion's mane in it. So that's something to bear in mind. Another thing people don't know about black pepper extract is it's actually an MAO inhibitor. 10 milligrams, not a particularly potent one, but a higher dose, a very potent one. Not particularly relevant to this product, but an interesting little side. So that's kind of what's in the product, why they're there. Use case, I think the original use case post-workout is a really, really useful time for this product if your goals are primarily physique-based. That's where it was really suited, particularly people who are amping themselves up on very, very high-end stimulants. It can help bring you back down. Pre-bed is still a very, very popular time for the product to be used. Ashwagandha makes a lot of people feel very relaxed, and it makes a lot of people feel very sleepy. So for that reason, pre-bed, I think, is the optimal time for most people. Now, around 1 in 10 people will find that actually ashwagandha makes them quite perky and quite alert. And if you're one of those people, then in the morning might be a better time, or would be a better time, but not immediately when you get up because of the aforementioned kind of cortisol effect that a little bit of cortisol in the morning is good because it helps you get going. If you are a morning neuroer, this stacks really, really well with caffeine. Now, things that won't have been in the original videos when we brought this out, this is available nowadays in a 30 and a 60 serving tub and capsules. It's also available as a PM version, and I'll cover that in a moment. There's another product in our line that takes some of the characteristics of this and puts it into a product more suited to productivity, and that is Clean Kill. This one. So, if you did want something specific for in the morning, this might be a better use case product, although it's not as versatile. So, Clean Kill, mornings, potentially. Neuro, all-round, mornings, midday, post-workout, pre-bed. Neuro PM, specifically pre-bed. I hope this has been informative. Some of you who haven't been here from the start might have not seen me do a video like this before, and I hope for those of you that it's useful. For those of you who have seen a video like this before, it's been a long time since I've done one. Please don't criticize me too much. I'm a little bit out of practice. Love you all. Bye.